Oh my God, I just realized that I was a couple of minutes late and then I got a tug from the entities to tell me, hey, Liam, stop writing your Being You chapter for the new book that's going to be launched one day and get to work with us. Come on. Interesting point of view. Okay, so welcome everybody. Today we're talking about this amazing tool again. Interesting point of view. I have this point of view from, again, it's from Access Consciousness and Gary Douglas and Dane and all the beings that are involved with Access. It's just such an amazing, generative, creative way of living. So what I would like to invite you today to is to continue on with this interesting point of view tool, which we're going to do over 14 days. Today's day 10, and today it's time for the entities to talk. Yay! How you doing? Hello from Western Australia. Yay! Yeah, send me lots of love hearts. It really helps me sort of like know that you're out there and you're listening and I'm not just talking to myself. Interesting point of view, Liam. Interesting point of view. Interesting point of view. Okay, so, well, with entities, how many of you guys or how many people have you met that actually have a not very interesting point of view about entities? So many. Oh, Adam, how you doing, bro? So many people have this point of view that entities are something to be feared, and like if you go around living your life from fear, that's not really a very interesting point of view. So everywhere where we've bought the point of view that entities or beings that have no bodies are something to fear, can we now destroy and uncreate all of that, please? Thank you. Good and bad, right, wrong, pop, pock, all nice, short, boys and beyonds. If you don't know what that is, go to the accessclearingstatement.com. And so fear is basically a distractor implant. It's designed to distract you from who you be. And when you're not being you, you can be easily controlled. So that's when entities can easily control you. Or other people can easily control you when you're in fear. Hey, how does it get any better than that? Just that little nugget of information, I'm sure, is tweaking a few people's realities right now. So just using interesting point of view will start to get you out of fear, because anytime somebody is trying to use anger or induce fear in you, interesting point of view, they're being angry at me. Interesting point of view, they're being angry at me. Interesting point of view, they're being angry at me. And it's amazing how much you can start to step into them being an allowance. And what happens is your barriers start to go down, and all that energy that's flowed at you, instead of you resisting and reacting to it or align and agree with it, it's just an energy and you can receive that energy. They can't hold on to that point of view if you don't have one. Interesting point of view, Liam. How does it get any better than that? What else is possible? So entities are just the same. They use things like distractor implants and thoughts and feelings, nothing more than feelings, to control you, because there's an electrical vibration to that, and that's how an entity controls its world, through that electrical magnetic vibration. That's how you as an entity fit with your body or stick with your body. You have there's a positive and negative charge, and so you stay with it. So when you are not in the when you're not in thoughts and feelings, which all have a charge, it's very difficult for entities to sort of stick to you for too long. So that's a great one to know, because if you're in interesting point of view, you're going to start coming out of your charge a lot more. God, I don't know who's sending me all of those smiley faces and flags and stuff, but just keep doing it. It's just awesome. I love it. Woohoo! So if you have any questions while we're doing this, we're going to talk for maybe another 2 or 3 minutes, and I'm totally happy to answer any questions, or maybe answer is not the right word. give my interesting point of view. So the thing is, when we're interested, when we're in interesting point of view, those barriers or borders towards the spiritual world can also go down. And then we can receive from entities so much more. Now, just because a being doesn't have a body doesn't make it any cleverer or more conscious than you. And I will tell you a little story here, which is quite interesting. When I was at a 5-day body class with Gary Douglas many years ago, I had set up at the massage table right next to the door that goes to the toilet. So all morning, the door was opening and closing, and it was like a bit disturbing. And I'm going, that's interesting point of view. I have that point of view. But what I noticed was that every time that the door opened, there would be a huge change in energy. And then after lunch, we came back, and of course, everybody fell asleep, so nobody was going in and out of the door. And about an hour went in, and there was this pressure around the door, and I'm going, wow, what the hell is this? And a little boy opened the door and walked out, and as he opened the door, the pressure all diminished. And I suddenly realized that there was all of these entities in the room waiting for the door to open so that they could leave. And it was like, oh my God. If you're stupid when you're alive, you're going to be stupid when you're on the other side. Oh, that rhymes. How does it get any better than that? Because as an entity, why would you need the door to open? You could just walk through the wall. So when you're in interesting point of view, you will start to be able to receive entities in a totally different way, a much more dynamic way, a way in which they cannot affect you, your body, or your money flows, or anything else. And that's maybe another topic of discussion at some stage, is entities and money flows. So let's all the interesting point of views, which are not really very interesting, about entities, what they are, what they aren't, and how big, bad and horrible they are, and that they're fearful. Would you now be willing to recant, rescind, revoke, claim, renounce, destroy, and uncreate everywhere where you've bought that and everywhere where you've perpetrated that? Thank you. Good, bad, right, wrong, pop, corn, short, boys and beyonds. If you are stupid when you're alive, you're going to be stupid when you die. On the other side it was, because it rhymes. If you're stupid when you're alive, you're going to be stupid on the other side. Yay! Well, what do I mean by stupid? I'm not talking about your IQ quotient. I'm talking about your FQ quotient, which is your fun quotient. When you're being the fun being that you truly be, you're being that lightness, you're being that energy of quote unquote enlightenment, and that's when you're being aware and conscious. And when you're being less than that, when you cut off your awareness, that's when we step into stupidity. The cool thing is that consciousness judges nothing and includes everything. So it includes stupid entities as well as bright entities. And you can always receive from a stupid entity and from a bright entity. So everywhere where we have got a point of view about, I don't want to receive from stupid people, can we now destroy and uncreate all of that? Good, bad, right, wrong, pop, corn, short, boys, millions. Hi, Sekiko, how you doing? And everywhere where you have bought the point of view that you couldn't receive from a bright person because you have already bought the point of view that you're not very bright yourself, would you now be willing to recant, rescind, revoke, reclaim, renounce, destroy, and uncreate all of that? Good and bad, right, wrong, pop, corn, short, boys, and beyonds. I can be stupid too, and I was valedictorian of my high school class. Yeah, so stupid is not the same as IQ. You don't have to have an IQ, a high IQ, to be aware. It's about following the energy and not having a point of view, because if you don't have any point of view, you can just use your psychic awareness to suck in anything that you require to create and generate your life. So everywhere where you're trying to be an intellectual to prove that you are not stupid, would you now be willing to recant, rescind, revoke, reclaim, renounce, announce, destroy, and uncreate all of that, please? Good and bad, right, wrong, pop, pock, all nine, short, boys and meals. So, yeah, interesting point of view. I have this point of view about entities. Interesting point of view. I have this point of view about entities. Hi, Rosie. Interesting point of view. I have this point of view about entities. Now, it's really interesting because Rosie just joined, and all of a sudden the energy has changed. Now, why the fuck does that happen every time that Rosie joins? It's like weird. Rosie, what do you know about entities and interesting point of view, huh? Because I know that Rosie has a huge amount of capacity with being in allowance, and if you ever want to know what it's like to be an interesting point of view, then you want to be having a look at people like Rosie who have made it their life to be in allowance. Because if she's not in allowance, her life is not so much fun, I can tell you that now. And she is just so frigging amazing using this tool. So thank you, Rosie, for joining us today. Anything else? Otherwise, I'm going to go and I'm going to let you use interesting point of view. I have this point of view with entities. So if you've done a bit of access, if you haven't done no access, if you're somebody who's spiritual, if you work with entities, it's like keep using that tool. Interesting point of view. I have this point of view about entities. Or if somebody keeps delivering a point of view at you about entities, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, spiritual or not spiritual, fear-based or not fear-based, whatever it is, interesting point of view, they have that point of view. Now, you don't say that to their fucking face, because you're going to get slapped, because they will think that you're trying to judge them when you're not. So it's like in your head, interesting point of view, they have that point of view. Interesting point of view, they have that point of view. Interesting point of view, they have that point of view. And you being an allowance of their point of view, even if it's stupid, allows them to have a different possibility. So, be you, change the world, interesting point of view. Love you guys. Looking forward to tomorrow. Oh, pardon me. Interesting point of view, day 11. There have been days I have been going like, why am I doing interesting point of view? I do not want to be this aware. And just keep going. Just keep going. Never give up. Never give in. Never friggin' quit. Merci. Bye-bye. And what else is possible, my beautiful friends?